Hello everyone, this is Pal Ponderon Weather coming at you with another video. In this update, we're going to be talking about tropical storm Iota that will be forming in the Caribbean that has the potential to be a powerful hurricane by early next week. So before I do get started, if you do like weather-related content, please subscribe to my channel as I will upload about 5 videos a week to keep you updated. And I do ask you to share this video with your friends and family that may be in the path of Iota. So here's the latest details from the National Hurricane Center as of the 7 a.m. advisory. I thought they would actually upgrade this to a storm, but they have decided to hold back. It's got a 90% chance of developing over the next 48 hours. It's an area disturbed weather that we've been talking about for the past couple days that's developing south of Jamaica, and it will propagate westward as we go through the weekend into early next week. And this is the same path that Iota took just 2 weeks ago. So this would be devastating for all these areas that are just waterlogged and they cannot get any more rainfall. But unfortunately, this is the setup that we have unfolding. Look at the last satellite picture. This really kind of got its act together overnight. A lot of the thunderstorms are kind of congealing or kind of, compacting together. So I do expect an upgrade just about at any moment, if not later on this morning. Definitely today, this will be Iota, which would be the 30th named storm of the season. Now let's take a look at the bigger picture. Here's Iota. We've been dealing with that for 2 weeks. It finally is off the northeast coast, and this will whisk away quickly off to the northeast. Here's Theta. So we still have Theta around, but that's no threat to the United States. And here's the other area of interest, which is now Invest 98L, which would be Iota at any moment. And you can really see a lot of the thunderstorms are really starting to congeal together. If we kind of zoom into that area, this is definitely getting its act together. It's got perfect outflow out ahead of it. You can see a lot of this area has had sun the last, pretty much all week long. And this is just kind of adding fuel to the fire as this system will propagate westward. This is very conducive atmosphere that's running into in a non-sheared environment. So I do expect Iota to not only form, but really intensify fairly quickly over the next couple days as it propagates westward. Now let's take a look at the guidance and kind of where it's going. Here's the latest European model as well as the GFS. So you can see a little bit of uncertainty here. Here, the latest European model has it shifting further, just a beeline westward. Now, there's basically two scenarios with Iota and how this would play out, and none of them are good. If it would take a beeline westward, this would impact the same areas that Iota hit, Nicaragua and Honduras, with devastating flooding rains, probably 20 inches of rain, but a little bit of a weaker storm as it would have less time over water. But that scenario would not be good as well. But here's the other scenario with the latest GFS model. It has a little bit stronger system, and a stronger system would gravitate it a little bit further west-northwestward and keep it over water over a longer period of time, and would intensify this storm. We have a developing high pressure over the northeast would propagate this westward, but then we also have a developing high pressure over the United States that would kind of help with the steering currents from this storm. So here's the latest. If you take all the models, and pretty much a lot of them are fairly congruent, a lot of these take it further west into Nicaragua and Honduras. Just in over the next 3 to 4 days, that would make impact in this area. But a stronger system, the inflection point is really about Sunday. This is the inflection point. It would be south of Jamaica around hour 48, in between 48 and 60 hour. Right now it has a look of pretty much a tropical storm already. So it's already kind of getting its act together, and it's expected to be a tropical storm, if not a stronger tropical storm, just south of Jamaica. But if it really ramps up on Sunday, it would actually take a shift further north, west-northwest, and then go over water over an extended period of time longer, this would be hour 120. And that's when it could really intensify into possibly a powerful hurricane by then. Now let's take a look at what we're working with. I mean, so this is the 200 millibar pattern. You can see what lies ahead from Iota. Just perfect outflow. This is not a good scenario for tropical storm development, because this is just almost perfect conditions with a low shear environment. This area has been pretty much crystal clear and sun, so it's adding a lot of fuel, energy to this environment, and this is just very conducive that it's tapping into. So it's got a lot of breath, if you will, to really develop fairly quickly. And a lot of the intensity models are kind of picking up on that in a fairly big way. I mean, you can, when we were talking about Ada, it didn't have this intensity. It never, none of the guidance this early on had Ada forming into a Category 4 hurricane as they did. So this is a little concerning that is already showing this could ramp up in a big way into a powerful hurricane by 96 hours. So we're talking 4 days from now, so fairly quickly. So a lot of the guidance has it a tropical storm over the next 36 to 48 hours, and then kind of ramping up at about hour 60 as a hurricane by then. That would put it on the cusp of Monday into Monday afternoon. But then if it takes a little bit further northward track, then that would really start to intensify it fairly quickly and ramp up into possibly a major hurricane. And some of the guidance, some of the hurricane models even have it go into a Category 4 hurricane. So there's two scenarios how this would play out. And like I said, none of them were good. What we have to work with out ahead of it is there's still a ton of warm ocean surface temperatures, sea surface temperatures in the Caribbean. This is where basically Iota is forming in 29 Celsius degree water. So it's got a lot of fuel to work with. And you can see right by Nicaragua and Honduras where we had a little bit of upwelling, where the temperatures drop about 2 degrees Celsius along because they'd had the impacts of Ada. But if this storm takes a little bit further, like I said, west-northwest track, it would keep it over the warmer waters even longer. And obviously it would put it over here over water longer, and would, obviously be able to intensify further into a powerful hurricane. And not only are they, warm at the surface, but also warm deep down in the ocean. So these are all parameters that you look at for fuel of what Iota would be running into. So if you're talking a great outflow out ahead, you're talking, sea surface temperatures really warm, deep ocean, water temperatures really warm as well. You can see the path that it would take. Some of the highest levels of the entire ocean are right here, the exact path that Iota would take, and in a non-sheared environment. So it's got a lot of fuel to work with and really ramp up in a big way. And what's even more concerning is the latest GFS intensity guidance. Now this, if all systems were perfect, I mean, this could kind of unfortunately possibly explode into a bigger 4, possibly even a Category 5. It's really definitely concerning that some of the ship guidance is showing this potential in the atmosphere. Not like this is going to happen, but it has the potential. If all systems were in a perfect scenario, this would be 160 knot powerful hurricane. That would be a 185. That would be like Hurricane Dorian caliber. So there's a lot. Those are a lot of concerning factors that we have to work with over the next 3 or 4 days, and a lot of the model guidance. So we'll just have to definitely pay attention of what's happening with this storm. Because like I said, here's the latest GFS model. If we have a weaker storm, it would take it inland faster into Nicaragua and Honduras. If we have a stronger system, then there's more water to work with. We would have a ramping hurricane, Category 3, Category 4 potential. And then obviously if it gets here into Belize, you would be impacted with major powerful hurricane force winds. And then obviously, in the extended range, obviously, if it gets in this scenario, this would probably be Wednesday, Thursday time frame. The dynamics would possibly change over the United States and keep it over this area longer. So there's the inflection point is definitely Sunday. If this is going to take a beeline course to the west and impact Nicaragua and Honduras and continue on, or take a shift, slight west-northwest shift, and keep it over water longer, and then develop into a powerful hurricane, and then this would just expand and impact a lot of areas early next week. So now here's the latest hurricane model, and I kind of picked this one out because I at this point I'm kind of favoring kind of the path of this particular model. This model has been pretty accurate this season, so it has proven itself time and time again. So here's the latest simulated indexed from the hurricane model, and it has a this is by Saturday morning. This would be a tropical storm by then, approaching Jamaica, just south of Jamaica. So I do expect a tropical storm to be in the Caribbean south of Jamaica on Saturday, and then by Sunday it gets even closer, forming into possibly a 60-mile-per-hour tropical storm by then, just south of Jamaica, as it's kind of really starting to get its act together. So obviously conditions in Jamaica would start being impacted from rain. You know, even today you're probably going to get more isolated type stuff, and then, you know, grow throughout the weekend, get more isolated and scattered in Jamaica as you get the outflow. So you're not going to take a direct hit from this system. But as you've seen with Eta and Zeta, you know, indirect impacts are just as great, because you've had a lot of rain from those two storms and you've had a lot of landslides from those two storms. So this would just be adding on top of that with a lot of the similar impacts that I'm expecting for you guys. But then as you propagate into Monday, now we're talking it's going to be a hurricane by then, down to a 979 millibar hurricane, probably approaching 85 mile per hour winds. You can see an eye developing by then as this will propagate westward. Now, this particular model has it shifting just slightly west-northwest of the Nicaragua-Honduras area, that I do feel like this is a scenario that I'm leaning towards at the moment. And then by Tuesday, that would really rapidly deepen into a 953 millibar hurricane. This would be a major hurricane. You can see the eye with this system. There's approaching the Belize area, then over the Cayman Islands. So this area will really have to watch this scenario if this plays out. And then by Wednesday morning, it would even deepen further and developing a pretty good eye at that point, and be on the cusp of a Category 4 hurricane with, you know, 120 plus mile per hour winds. So there's a lot to be on the lookout for from this particular system over the next 4 or 5 days. I'll be updating on this system starting tomorrow and Saturday twice a day to keep you well ahead of the storm, to kind of keep you as safe as possible with all the potential impacts. So I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, do leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch me in the next video where I protect you before and after the storm.